Test is tomorrow. Okay, so to start us off, I'll change this. You had to recognize the first two problems is just, can you write ratios? Can you write proportions? Can you take the ratio and write an equation with it? So they tell us that the triangle, and they're referring to the angles, are 8 to 3 to 4. So hopefully, since we're talking about the angles of the triangle, we know that every triangle is equal to 180. So you should be starting off with an equation, or just add them up, and we should get 15x equals 180. So your x equals what? Yep, x equals 12. Okay, but the question is asking us to find the measure of each angle. So that requires you to plug it back in for each ratio and multiply. So we should have 8 times 12, then 3 times 12, then 4 times 12. Our angles are 96, 36, and 48. Okay. 2 is similar to 1. The only difference is now it's taking this ratio with perimeter, and they tell you the perimeter is 130 feet. So we'll have our 9x plus 12x plus 5x equals 130, or you can go straight to adding them up and get 26x equals 130. Okay. Again, they want you to find the measure of the sides. So solve for x and then plug it back in. Now, when we go to topic 2, similar figures, you probably need to remember or know, if I'm talking about similar figures, they're proportional, which means same ratio. Also, what matters is the order matters to help you match up the corresponding sides. Okay, so scale factor really means you're comparing the second image to the first image. And so when you read your diagrams, you read them left to right just like you read your text. But the thing is, which I want you to recognize, is triangle A to triangle B, it's getting smaller. And anytime it's getting smaller, then that means the scale factor has to be a fraction. To make it smaller means you're going to reduce the shape, the size. So the second figure is my B. I'm going to compare it to the first figure, which is the A. All I do is need to match up parts. To me, it's easier if you just find the biggest side or the smallest side. Like this is my biggest side in B. It has to match up with the biggest side in A. I'm not doing this any further. I want to see, can you set up the ratio and reduce it to get to the scale factor? It does reduce. So I'm going B to A. If you want to start with the smallest side, like on this figure, 9 is the smallest side and 12 is the smallest side. They're not going to always be in the same orientation. So that would be 9 over 12, which can reduce. Make sure you always give the reduce answer.
So the scale factor, we just write R.
Right, what?
R.
R. The symbol for scale factor is a K. Yeah. The scale factor is just a ratio. It's a fraction always. It's either going to be a fraction greater than 1 or between 1 and 0, depending on how the image is changing. This one got smaller, so I know it's less. It's a fraction between 0 and 1. Same thing, it got smaller. So it has to be, this one reduces to 3/4. 3/4 is between 0 and 1. Okay, so from there, writing a scale factor, they want you to write and solve a proportion. So in order to do this, they want us to find x right here. I have to use this similarity statement to do that. Because it doesn't matter which side I pick that has x on it. I just have to compare them the same way. So which side do you want to use to start with that has an x? Because it doesn't matter. Well, there's more than one with x, that's what I'm saying. Do you want to start with kj or do you want to start with uv? That's what I'm asking. Okay, so if you start with kj, which is right here, kj, first and last, it matches up with vu, first and last. So I'm going kj to vu. So I'm going big to small. I just got to keep that pattern when I write my proportion. I don't need the names. I just need to make sure whatever comparison we do, we have to keep it the same. So here's my proportion. 4x minus 23 is to the 2x plus 2. That's going to equal to what other two sides? Yeah, 25. In that triangle with the kj, the kl is to 20. All right, now we just need to cross multiply, but we need to use parentheses here. So this would be 25 parentheses 2x plus 2. This is going to be 20 parentheses 4x minus 23. And you're going to need to distribute the 25 and the 20. So 50x plus 50 is going to equal to 80x minus 460. Now we're just solving an equation, variables on both sides. You should start with the smallest variable, which is the 50x. When you do that, you're left with 50 equals 30x minus 460. Oh, sorry. 460. And then to get the x term isolated, you're going to have to add 460. So really, this comes out to be 510 equals 30x. So number 5 and 6 are similar to each other for the main sake that you have the similarity statement and you're trying to find the value of x. So match up the letters, please, to set up your proportion correctly. All right, I want to go to the next problem because now they're going to ask you to find a side. So if you look at number 7x, here, they're asking us to find KL. And so what I'm going to have to do is see that my KL here, here's K to L. That KL matches up with FE or EF. So that matches up with that side there. So you're still writing and solving a proportion. So if I start with my KL, my 6x plus 3, KL corresponds with the FE, which is x plus 11. It's going to equal to 25 over 10. Now, if you want to reduce before you cross multiply, you can. That's up to you. But like, I can see that I can reduce because 5 goes in 25 and 10. So this would be 5 over 2. Does that make sense what I just did right there? And then you can cross multiply if you want to cross reduce first. So that, I mean, this is just another way. It gets you to the same answer. So this is 5 parentheses x plus 11. And then this is equal to 2 parentheses 6x plus 3. So if you want to reduce before, reduce the fraction, the number, that's fine. Or you can just do it like we have been. It's just going to be bigger numbers. So this is 5x plus our 55 equals our 12x plus our 6, because we're distributing both sides. And then I'm going to start with the smallest variable, which is the 5x. So I have 55 is equal to 7x plus 6. And now I can isolate my x term by subtracting the 6 on both sides. And then we would have what? What is it? Come on, guys. Hmm? 49. Yes, and that means that x has to be what? 7, right? Okay, the thing is though, they're asking for KL. So make sure you plug it back in. Right here, they told me KL was the 6x plus 3. So that means we're doing 6 times 7 plus 3. So KL really is 45. So 7 and 8 are similar because you have to plug it back in. I don't think the attendance went through. All right, now a star number 9, just because it's a perimeter problem with a scale factor. You still want to use your similarity statement. We still want to use the scale factor, which is 43. 43 is a big number to a smaller number in the perimeter of WXY. So this small triangle is the one I don't have. I'm making that P equal X. It's the big triangle that I could find the perimeter to, because I can add up the 3 sides. 13 plus 29 plus 22 will give this a perimeter of 64. Yeah, so now I'm just going to use the 2 perimeters and my scale factor. So big to small, so if I do 4 over 3 is equal to my big perimeter of 64 to the small triangle perimeter of x, the unknown. Now we're just going to cross multiply to solve it. Okay. This is a whole number. You do have some decimals on some of these problems, but this is a whole number answer. I'll let you finish it. Now, for topic 3, that's now we're going to get into proving similar triangles. The 3 ways to prove are angle-angle similarity. I wrote next to that AA that you have to have 2 congruent angles to do that. The SSS similarity, you have to have 3 of the same ratio, 3 sides that are the same ratio. And then the SAS, here you have to have 1 congruent angle and then 2 sides with the same ratio. So just based on what's given on this example here, or this problem, excuse me, the 28 represents a side, 15 represents a side, 39.2, and the 21 is a side. The other thing that is known, or you should know, is that you have vertical angles. So it looks like I have the pattern SAS. What you have to check is that the sides are proportional, the same ratio. So if I check my sides, that means my 28 over 15 and my 39.2 over 21, they either have to reduce to the same number or their cross products have to be the same. If I cross multiply, this comes out to be 588 and 588. If I reduce, it just reduces to 28 over 15. That is the smallest one they have in common. So this is yes. They are similar. It would be similar by side, angle, side, similarity. And then the order matters. The order matters. So you have to check your markings. Oops, I meant to erase that part. Check your markings. So if I say P to K to M, then this other triangle, if I go P to K to M, would have to be L to Q to M. Now, the key to this is always just to see what's given. So if I look on this next number 11, what I'm given are angles. So if they're talking about triangle CAB right here, I have this angle C, which is 47. I have the angle A, which is 98. I need to find the missing angle B. I can find that B by adding my 98 and 47 together. That gives me 145, and then take 180 from that. So that means my angle B is 35. So 35 is there. Well, I know of the two triangles, this is the whole triangle, the large triangle. And then the other triangle is the C to D to E, the smaller triangle right here. The one thing that they have in common is C. Angle C is a shared angle. So that's one angle. I need to check another one. So I could check this missing angle here, angle D, by taking my 47 and my 38, adding those together. That gives me 85. Subtract that from 180. That gives me 95. And right there, I only have one angle congruent. The 95 and the 98 are not congruent. The 38 and 35. So if there's only one angle, then you're going to write not similar. And then you do not fill out that part. Sorry, guys. All right, now, they're connected. There it goes. Okay, so on the next section here, on the next page, I'm gonna focus on the odds, number 13. I wanted you to remember we have parallels showing that arrow. So they start off with, they start off giving you the side, oops, what happened? The side PS is parallel to CF. And if it's parallel, then you have alternate interior angles congruent. Do you see which angles could be alternate interiors? Say that again? Yeah, F. I'm going to put an arc here at F. And P are alternate interior. So that's one angle I have. Okay, and yes, I have the vertical angle. So I'm going to put a double arc here. So there's the other angle I have. I'm looking for 2. I found my 2. So this is similar by angle similarity. So now all I need to do is pay attention to the order of my letters. If I go from P to A to S, that is going to be similar to triangle FAC. On 15, they want you to recognize you have overlapping triangles. You can separate to help you problem solve. So I did the small triangle NJK compared to the large triangle NRV. Also, what I noticed is that in the large triangle, I can find this whole side by adding the 8 and the 32. That's supposed to be a 40 right there. And then I can find the missing side in the small triangle by doing 45 minus 9, which is how I got 36. So I know they share the angle N. That's why I have a double arc here. That's the shared angle. So all I need to do is check the sides. This whole side 40 should correspond to the 32. And then I want to check, does this whole side 45, is it proportional with the 36? So we can either reduce it or cross multiply. If I reduce this both has 9 in common, so this is 5/4. Here, this both has 8 in common, again 8/4, 5/4. So they're the same. So this would be similar by side, angle side similarity. And then you follow the letters. So if I'm going J to K to N, that would be triangle RVN. And then our last section is parallel lines and proportional parts. This goes with the flip book that we finished, that we did. Okay. All right, so the key to this, and to most of this, is write and solve a proportion. So if most of these are going to be side splitter, but if you're going to use side splitter, you have to have part to part. You got to have each part. Like on 16, I'm missing this little piece right here, that part. I know the whole thing is 28, and I know this part is 21, so I have to use the whole and the part to get the missing part. Does someone see what that little piece has to be? Yeah, it has to be 7. Hope y'all can see that. It's a 7. Okay, so now that I see that 7, I can just go straight across to my parts. I can do x's to the part 7. That's 18, and I look across, there it is, 18 is to that 21 part. And then I can cross multiply. Same thing here. I can see that this x plus 5 part is across from the 5x plus 1 part. And I can physically see that that 15 is across the 35. You can reduce first, or you can just go straight to cross multiplying. So this is pretty much it right here. Proportions, writing proportions, solving proportions. You will have some decimal answers. I think there's 3 total. I can't remember. I'll double check. This is due tomorrow. Test is tomorrow. If you finish it, I'll stamp it to give you early extra credit points. And then don't forget, guys, I'm going to get online right now to double check, but that quizzes that I assigned on Friday, it's still open. It's going to be a grade. I'm going to try to remind you, give you class time. What other classes did, if they were finished with the packet, they just got a laptop and they finished the quizzes. I'm going to check you off by the work you turn in because it tells you on specific problems to work it on a sheet of paper. Okay, so I will remind you because I'm probably going to make this due by Friday, just because I know some people are having some technical difficulties. So if you need to check that you can access the quiz online, that you can make sure you're in the class, that you can see the assignments, because we're going to start doing some in class, especially for this next unit, okay? So try to finish the packet and then work on your quizzes, when you're done. Yes.